Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel. It's been nearly 2 weeks now. Obviously the season is all wrapped up, but that doesn't mean the content won't continue. We did say we'll be back, and we are. So obviously we do this every season. It's the season review, so this time obviously it's a season review of the 2022-23 Swansea City season then. So we have got a few guests on the channel, so before we get into our part, we'll hand you over to the guests. We've got 5 people featuring on the channel, who you probably know really well anyway from featuring on our channel previously. We've got SwansAwayDays, also known as Reese Bish. We've got MarleySCFCVlogs, Marley, CurtisTheJack, Tristan 24, and Darren from the Real Jack Army. So yeah, before we go into our part, we'll hand it over to those 5 and see what they think, see how they think our season went, and see what they have to say really. So yeah, we'll hand you over to them.
So big thanks to Pure SCFC Vlogs for letting me come onto their channel and give my thoughts on last season and the season upcoming. First of all, before you may notice, my teeth, yeah, slightly missing a tough. Long story, but you'll have to put through it for this short clip. So, on to the season we've just passed now. Of course, the playoffs are still going ahead, but I in the end, not too disappointed really of what happened. Of course, we had a really hard spell during the middle of the season, which kind of like deflated most fans' expectations and hopes. But overall, I think we're unbeaten on the last 9 league games in the end, have some really good results in there as well. So I don't think we can argue too much. Of course, we made no signings in January, if you don't count Andreas Sundergaard after he signed in like February, so I'm not really going to count that. But yeah, we made no real improvements to the squads in January when we desperately needed to. I feel like if we invested in 1 or 2 players and a loan or something like that, then we really could have progressed into the top 6. Because you look at how many points we're off the top 6 in the end, it's not very much at all. And all those 90th minute goals we conceded this season was very frustrating in the end. In terms of next season, then I definitely feel like we've got the potential to get top 6. Do I think we're going to get it though? It's a whole different ball game really. We need signings, we need investment, and more importantly, we need Russell Mann to sign a new deal, because he's only got 1 year left in his contract. Southampton are looking at him as the number 1 choice to become the new manager. Of course, if Leicester come down as well, they'll want a manager like Russell Martin in charge. So yeah, be an interesting summer, of course. If Martin signs this new deal sooner rather than later, if we offer him a deal anyway, then, it'll be a good summer in terms of we know who's going to be at the helm. But we all know Swansea City don't like to do things the easy way. Of course, Steve Cooper left about 2-3 seasons ago with about 2 weeks to go until the start of the season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happen this season. Martin going to another championship club. Of course, Norwich again is another club which could potentially get rid of their manager and want Russell Martin. As David Wagner's not done a great job there. But yeah, signings are the main thing. Of course, we've got players like Joel Pro, who's only got 1 year left in his contract as well. So there's going to be talk about him potentially leaving as well, or we'll lose him out on free transfer, just like Blackburn had with Ben Burton. I think getting money for him, he's gone now for nothing. So it'll be interesting to see what the Swansea board want to do in that aspect, really. Do you want to get money for Pro? Do you want to keep him for the season, try and get promotion? Then he'll sign a new deal. So yeah, interesting summer ahead, as always. But yeah, in terms of last season, quite disappointed that we didn't get top 6, but we weren't ready. This season, I think we can really push on again. The league is going to be ridiculously hard. Some of the teams which have not gone up this season is, ridiculous. Watford, look at some of their players on paper. They'll be up there this year. You got teams like Norwich who failed to really hit heights. They'll be up there this year. Got huge teams like Sunderland, who will always be a threat with their fan base. You're going to have one of Luton, Coventry, Middlesbrough. 2 of those will stay down, and all 3 of those are very good sides. Then you got Southampton who come down. We've got like Chiara, Adam Armstrong, Bazunu. Then you're going to have Leicester, Leeds / Everton coming down. Two of those 3. Ridiculous. So yeah, it can be a really tough league next year. I'm looking forward to it though. Just hopefully we get Russell Mann in charge and make a few signings. But yeah, thanks lads for getting me on. Please subscribe to their channel, subscribe to me as well, SwansAwayDays. I've had a little bit of a break recently from YouTube, but I'm back fully ready to go for the new season, and hopefully the season where Swansea City return back to Premier League, where we'll verse the big boys instead of losing to some small teams in this division. We're not a very big team ourselves, but I'm sick of that championship now. Let's get back to the Premier League so we can sign some talented Brazilians who are about 17 years old and sell them for about 100 million. That's a dream. Thanks lads for getting me on. Catch you later.
Hi everyone, on Pure SCFC Vlogs channel, it's CurtisTheJack here to give a season review, and I gotta say, Well, it's been a roller coaster ride this season, I've got to say. We had this one really bad bit second half season, and we eventually became really good. 9-game unbeaten run, 7 of being wins, and yeah, I'd say it was a mixed season. Main problem is that the owners of the club, they didn't give Martin any back in. With no signs made in January, we did very well. We finished 10th, and yeah, next season we got to keep Russell Martin, because he's been linked with a move away to Southampton and Leicester respectfully. If we don't keep Martin in, I don't know what'll happen. I think where we finish next season will probably come down to where the manager is and the investment of clubs. So yeah, I think it'll be down to the investment of where we finish next season and who the manager is.
Massive thanks to Jake and Luke for having me on the channel for this video then. We're going to be taking a look back on season review on the 2022-23 season for the Swans then. It didn't start off too good, did it? A lot of hype going into the season from the summer, had a good pre-season, and it looked like this could be the season we would click on from a positive end from the previous season to really hit the ground running in this season. Start the season really slow though in the league. Didn't do well in the cup at all as well. But after a few changes, of course, Stephen Bender ended up coming into goal to replace Andy Fisher. Then things sort of changed for the Swans. Our luck, our fortunes, performances were a lot better after that. And we're on an amazing run, beating West Brom, Watford, even Cardiff in that run. And then after that, just before the World Cup break really, it just all went downhill. I don't know how many games exactly it was that we fell off, but it just wasn't impressive from the Swans. A poor January as well didn't help when we were promised backing from the owners. Ultimately this year they have let us down and cost us a place which we could have been in the playoffs this season. I truly do believe that. But it just shows that if Russell Martin does get back in for the next season, just dreaming of what he could achieve with, with no budget, he's achieved this. With some budget, what can he achieve? It's very exciting for Swansea. Of course, now he's being linked to the Southampton job and the Leicester job. Really, really hope he doesn't go, because I think he's fantastic personally. Of course, Ryan Manning, Latibodia still haven't signed a new contract. Don't know whether they're going to or not. I really hope they do, of course. But don't blame them if they do leave. We'll have to just recruit well, of course, like we always do. Oh, do you mind just cutting that last bit off? Because, yeah. Anyway, where was I? It wasn't a good start then to the new calendar year. Against Burnley, we put a good fight up, but then it just went downhill after that. Into February, poor results. We bottled the game against Birmingham 4-3 when we were 3-2 up. We bottled so many games this season. Against Rotherham, that was sort of a point where a lot of people wanted change. A lot of people wanted Ross out. Going into March then, poor performances at the start and results. However, we did turn it around on the back end of March, going into April, where we did do the double over Cardiff in dramatic fashion, and that spurred us on to finish 9 games unbeaten at the end of the season, which is just incredible. Massive thanks to Jake for having me on the channel. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the video. If you have a spare 30 seconds, be sure to check out my channel, Tristan24. Would much appreciate it. Enjoy the video, guys.
What's happening, everyone? Marley Jones, MarleySCFCVlogs, whatever you want to call me. Once again, appearing on the SCFCVlogs channel. Thank you guys for inviting me on. A pleasure as always. But they've asked me to do a quick summary of the season. For me, you've only got to look at what we accomplished at the end of the season to really think about what season we've really had. We went through a bad spell. There were results which we should have been picking up 3 points, but we didn't. I think we should have won a lot more than we did. You've only got to look at those last minute goals against Millwall, Sheffield United, Birmingham. You got to look at you only got to look at them and think, if we had actually won those games, look what we could have achieved. We could have been in the playoffs right now. Who knows? We could have gone to Wembley, but yeah, unfortunately, it hasn't happened, and it's more like a look what we could have, or rather than look what we have achieved. Next season, hopefully Martin stays. The process will grow ever so stronger, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to next season. Hopefully we can get a few signings through the door. Hopefully the owners can actually stick their finger out and give Martin a new deal, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, my thoughts on the season as a whole, I think it's been a really topsy-turvy one, and just hoping we can expand it for next season now. Cheers boys for allowing me on, and up the Swans.
Well, that is another season for Swansea City, done and dusted. We didn't do too bad in the end, just missed out in the playoffs by drawing against Hull. The season overall wasn't a bad one. Obviously, Martin didn't get back in January, which has now led to speculation that he's off to Southampton, which can't blame him, because at the end of the day, every manager seems to go after they don't get the squad that they truly want. Season as a whole, average, I gotta be honest. I expected Swansea to finish mid-table, and you know they finished where they finished in that position. But you know, if you don't back a manager, then you're not going to get the results. But fair play, we went on an amazing run at the end of the season. Bit too late, some might say, but obviously it's got to be said. Swansea City managed to get within a point, just a couple of points of that magical playoffs, but wasn't to be in the end. Obviously today now has come out that Martin was somewhere in America, but some cities in Swansea, other people saying he's in Southampton after their job, but let's go wait and see. Going into next season, Piero, Matt Grimes, Cabango stays or goes, and we've got to replace them again. It's just a full circle of playing with a team for one season or 2 seasons and then finding replacements. Obviously the Obafemi situation really didn't help us. You know, he threw his toys at the pram, for the first time, because he'd done it with Southampton. And then you had the owners not helping Martin in January. But we did do a big, I'm not going to swear on camera because, but we proved to the owners in some ways, in my opinion, that we don't need money to get up to the Premier League, because obviously it became only, if we had beaten Hull, we would have come down to the last game to get into a position of the playoffs, which isn't too bad. But yeah, like I said, going next season now, if Piero and all that stays, then we were in with a chance of getting to the playoffs, maybe even higher, but you never know in the Championship. Thank you and goodbye.
Right, so obviously a massive thanks to those 5 for featuring on our channel. All their links will be down in the description, so go and drop them all a sub. They all make really good content, and just trying to help them out before the new season begins. But yeah, so now going on to what we think of the season then. So season as a whole, it was very up and down, to be honest with you. We had some very good moments towards the start of the season, some very good moments towards the end of the season, but it was just that middle period where we couldn't really find that consistency, and that's probably what cost, well, it's not probably, it is what cost us the playoff spot in the end. I'd say all in all, it was definitely, a better season than last season. It was, as I said, we did have some good moments, and towards the end of the season we picked up a lot of form, but it's just, again, like last season, a lack of consistency that cost us. But how would you say the season went as a whole?
Yeah, I'd say it's just been an okay season. It is definitely an improvement from last season. We finished, 17th last season, I'm pretty sure. And obviously we're finishing in the top 10 this year, which is great, but there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. Obviously there are other players leaving this summer, so we will have to do a lot to try and stay in this division. But it's been a good season. There's been some highs and some lows all across the season, and yeah, consistency has been the main issue really. We've, what was it, a 9-game unbeaten run towards the end of the season, which is perfect. It's like ever since that Cardiff win, our season just went up like that. But yeah, it's a shame, because there are a lot of games this season, we've either drawn the game or lost the game when we really should have gotten all the 3 points. You know, some decisions may not go our way, but that's just football. But yeah, I'd say it's just been an average season, but it's a good improvement from last year.
Yeah, now we're going to have a look at how we finished compared to what we both predicted at the start of the season then. So at the start of the season, I predicted us to finish 6th, Luke predicted us to finish 9th, and we actually finished 10th, so Luke was very close with that, to be fair. I wasn't too far off, I guess, but it could have been better. We finished 10th, so, you know, we both weren't too far off with our predictions, to be honest with you. I didn't really, you know, I half-heartedly said it. I always predicted to get into playoffs. I shouldn't do it, but yeah, we finished 10th. So to be honest with you, I think it was good to finish off in the top 10 because, you know, with 9 games to go, we were looking like we were battling relegation, and then all of a sudden we just turned it around and went unbeaten in our last 9, which was just incredible, to be honest with you. But now we're going to talk about the thoughts on the summer and January signings. Well, not really January signings, just summer signings, to be honest with you. But yeah, so obviously in the summer we signed Harry Darling, Nathan Wood, Joe Allen. We signed those 3 permanently, and then we loaned in Luke Cundle, Matty Soranola, Armstrong Ockerflex and Finlay Stevens. So yeah, again, not all of those players really, you know, really were integrated into our side throughout the whole season. I think the standout signings, to be honest with you, I'd probably have to go with Nathan Wood and Luke Cundle, to be honest with you, and probably Harry Darling as well. But yeah, what would you say about the signings? How would you say, you know, they kind of fared out, and who would you say are the standout signings?
Well, yeah, I think it was a good summer transfer window. I think, you know, in the January one we could have done a little bit more. You know, I think if we got maybe another 2 or 3 players over the line, then maybe we would have challenged the playoffs potentially. So that's just another debate for another time. But I think the summer signings, I think all in all, it's been, you know, it was a decent transfer window. We did upgrade on certain positions which we needed to. Yeah, I think Luke Cundle was an outstanding signing. I think he's been really underrated. Hopefully we can get him on another season-long loan, which I think we can. I think, you know, Finn Stevens didn't get much game time. Ockerflex, similar really. Allen, he's been good. Obviously fitness has been a massive issue for him. But yeah, Darling, Woods and I'd say Soranola as well have been our standout signings. Obviously you got Darling, who's up to play in a number of positions. You know, sometimes he might play at centre back, then he might be a right back. So he's up to it. You know, really try and be quite versatile. But I think Nathan Wood's been outstanding. I think he's been really, really good. You know, a lot of people, you know, might have a go at him because of the way he plays, the way he's on, you know, he's got the pitch on the ball, because he is quite dodgy at times. But I'd say Wood, Cundle, and yeah, probably Darling have been a standout signing.
Yeah, I'll agree. And then that also links into the question of, you know, letdown signings. And for me, I wouldn't really say that, you know, Finn Stevens was a letdown signing because he didn't play. I think I only really remember him playing about twice, to be honest with you. But I'd say a letdown signing for me would probably have to be Armstrong Ockerflex. I know he didn't make too many starts, but every time he made a cameo off the bench, he didn't really, you know, do too much. And so for me, he'd probably have to be a letdown sign, especially because he didn't play much, and then he just, you know, kind of left in January alongside Michael Obafemi as well, which is quite disappointing. But that links into the winter signings we made, which was none apart from Andreas Sondergaard, who came in due to Stephen Bender's injury. He came in as a backup goalkeeper to Andy Fisher, and he didn't make a single appearance. So I can't really, you know, say anything to Sondergaard. I don't know if he's any good or not. Seems like a lovely chap every time me and Luke met him. But yeah, I can't really, you know, say anything on that. It was a letdown. You know, a letdown of a window, but he's definitely not a letdown because he didn't play, so you can't really say that. But yeah, now going on to thoughts on Russell Martin then. So for me, I think, you know, I've never once been Russell out, to be honest with you. I know a lot of our fans were at one point, but I just think that's ridiculous. You know, there were times where I wondered, you know, where we were going to go with this squad, if it was, you know, if he was the right man for it. But I never once, you know, as Martin out. I just think, you know, you got to trust him. You got to, you know, stick with the process and give him time. And to be honest with you, he's been excellent. You know, before last season, our single manager had done the South Wales Derby double, and now he's done it back to back. So, you know, he's the only man to ever do that, and he's done it twice. So, you know, it's a good stat for him. But yeah, how would you say, you know, what are your opinions on Russell Martin in this season?
Yeah, I will admit, you know, around that middle period of the season, I was debating Martin out. I think, you know, potentially he had his day, but yeah, he has turned it around, you know, towards the end of this season though. You know, we finished 10th, you know, from 17th last season, so there's massive improvement there. Martin, you know, he's also wanted by some, you know, many clubs as well, like Southampton and Leicester. I know he's been massively linked to them, so he obviously must be a good manager in their eyes. And you know, hopefully we can try and keep hold of him. You know, I do hope so. You know, he's good at using, you know, young players, bringing them through. You know, we've seen Liam Cullen really improve this season, and some of the younger players that he's brought in. And I think we actually have one of the youngest squads in the Championship as well, also the youngest manager as well. And we've still done a decent job, so I think he's done a good job this season. And well, from here, I think the only way is up now. I think, you know, we need to make at least 2 or 3 more signings in the summer, because we are losing some key players, but he has done a brilliant job so far this season.
Yeah, and then next we're going to talk about how we've improved from last season then. So for me, there's 3 standout ways we've improved. Obviously, the noticeable one is the table finish. You know, 6 places higher than we finished last season, so that's obviously the most notable one. Another one is the amount of goals we scored. You know, we scored a lot more goals this season than we did last season. And another one I'd probably say is our ability to be able to turn games around. Last season, we didn't really come from behind to win many games, to be honest with you, whereas we've done it quite a lot this season. You know, Watford, West Brom. There must be other times, but I can, you know, definitely recall a lot of times where we've come from behind to win games. But how would you say we've improved our last season?
Yeah, I feel like in this season we've actually given it a proper go. You know, we haven't, I feel like last season we kind of just gave up in games sometimes when we know we were beaten. But yeah, as you've said, we've come from behind in many games. You know, we've been scoring a lot of goals, which is brilliant to see. You know, 4 goals against Watford, 3 against Sunderland away, 3 against West Brom away, 3 against Cardiff away. You know, we're scoring a lot of goals against these teams. Obviously we are still conceding goals, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, there have been a lot of improvements this season. We've seen certain players improve their game as well as, you know, us just winning games, which is incredible. So there has been a lot of improvements, and you know, hopefully there will be plenty more next season as well.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about the standout players. I know we've obviously touched on standout signings, but talking about players as a whole then, so if I had to pick 5 to stand out for me this season, I'd probably say Joel Perreault once again. You know, obviously got 20 goals this season. I'd also go Ryan Manning, who was my player of the season. You know, he's been terrific this season. I think every aspect of the game he's good at. The only thing he lacks is sometimes his crosses from corners, but apart from that, I think he's got everything. I go with Matt Grimes. You know, I think it's just because he's the captain, it seems to go a bit unnoticed, but the work he does in midfield is incredible. Likewise, Jay Fulton, who's been my 4th pick. You know, he's been incredible as well this season, and it goes a bit unnoticed. And then the 5th player I'd say who stood out this season is Nathan Wood. You know, I think he'd only had 1 full championship game before he signed for us, and you know, he's only a year older than me and Luke, so it's pretty, you know, ridiculous, to be honest with you. The fact he looks so comfortable on the ball, and obviously he got called up to the England youth squad as well, so I think he's the only player not from the Premier League to be in that squad, so it just, you know, speaks volumes for how well he's played this season. So hopefully we can, you know, keep hold of those players. But who would you say are the standout players this season then?
Well, yeah, I will agree with the same 3 that you've said in Perreault, Manning and Grimes. I think Grimes has a lot to offer. As you said, he does go a bit unrecognised, but you know, in the midfield he keeps the ball moving. I never really see him give the ball away hardly. You know, he always puts his neck on the line for the team as well. Yeah, Perreault obviously 20 goals this season. You know, hopefully we don't lose him in the summer. I hope not. And obviously, yeah, Manning has been our player this season. He's been absolutely insane, and it'll be a shame to see him go in the summer. It's gonna be hard to replace him. But yeah, I will agree with those 3. 4th, I think I'll put Ollie Cooper in there. Obviously a young player that's come through. He was obviously on loan at Newport last season. He's obviously come into the first team, and he's just been starting to shine really. You know, he's played quite a lot of minutes this season as well. You know, it's not easy for someone of that age to just come into the team and just, you know, show what he can do. So I think he's had a brilliant season, so I have to put him in there. And I think it's a tricky one between I don't know. There's 3 players I think could get it. I think Wood's definitely up there. I think Cham's had a decent season as well. I think he's chipped in with a lot of goals and assists. And I'd potentially chuck Luke Combs in there as well, because I think he's had a great loan spell with the club. I think if I had to pick out of those 3, I'd probably slightly go Nathan Wood, but there's nothing much between those 3 in my opinion.
Yeah, and then now we're going to go on to the best moments of the season then. So, you know, there's quite a few to choose from, but, you know, there's the most notable ones would have to be Cardiff home and Cardiff away, especially the away game. But if you're going, you know, if you take them out of it, apart from that, I'd probably say, you know, the games like Blackpool away, West Brom away, Watford away, when we scored, you know, late winners. So apart from the Cardiff games, I'd probably say them. But yeah, it's undoubtedly the Cardiff games, both home and away. But what about you?
Yeah, I do agree with the ones you mentioned. A surprising one, but I'd probably chuck Coventry away as well. Because I thought we were absolutely dead and buried in that game. I think we were 2-0 down, and then we brought a goal back, I think, and they made it 3-1. And then we managed to get 2 goals. I think Liam Cullen scored in like the 84th minute to equalise, which is a really good game. Trying to feel off the top of my head, obviously we had a good 4-0 win against Watford at home, you know, nice convincing win against a decent team. But yeah, I definitely agree with those games that you mentioned. West Brom, that was a good game, you know, nice sunny day as well. Same with Blackpool as well, you know, it was a long journey as well. I think we only got there at like 20 minutes before kick-off, which is ridiculous. The traffic up north is dreadful, but, you know, we got the 3 points in the end, which is great. But yeah, I'll agree with those games that you mentioned.
Yeah, and then now going on to the best goal of the season then. So I've picked 2 because if you're going on terms of like how good the goal itself was and the finish, you'd have to go Harry Darling's against Rotherham in the opening game of the season. I think, you know, it was a great strike. But if you're going off the magnitude and the occasion, I think there's only one winner for that, and that's got to be Ben Cabango's 99th minute winner against Cardiff away. I think, you know, anyone that doesn't pick that is just... they're lying to you if they don't pick that. But yeah, you know, what a moment that was. You know, still think about it to this day. You know, it was one of the, well, probably the best moment I've ever witnessed as a Swans fan. But yeah, what would you say for the best goal of the season?
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that Cabango one because of the occasion and what it really meant to us. To obviously be in the last minute as well. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's had a really good goal. I know Perot in Champ scored quite a few bangers, but...
Fulton's against Reading.
Fulton's against Reading, that was decent. But, yeah, I'd have to agree with the Cabango one, I reckon. I think, yeah, because of what it meant to us as well, I have to agree with that.
Yeah, and then we're now going to, you know, do a few, well, not awards as such, but kind of awards, basically. But, yeah, so...
Yeah, the trophy, like.
Yeah. So most improved player this season. I'm going to have to give it to Liam Cullen, to be honest with you. I think it was a toss-up between him and Joel Atibodiere, but it's got to be Liam Cullen. Obviously, he was on loan at Lincoln last season, and, you know, this season he didn't really get a lock in until Christmas time, until that Coventry game, and then after that he just, you know, couldn't stop scoring. I think he got 8 or 9 goals in the season. He wasn't far off the double figures mark, but yeah, it's been an incredible season for Liam Cullen, so I'd say he's the most improved. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think he's definitely been, you know, a good player this season. He's definitely improved a lot on his game, you know, scoring a lot more goals than he was last season. I think I'd surprisingly put Jay Fulton in that bracket as well. I think this season compared to last season, I think he's been immense. I think he's been incredible. And he's definitely our most underrated player, that's a fact. So yeah, I'd definitely go for those 2 players, and I think Atibodiere in recent performances has been really good. I thought, yeah, well, especially since the Norwich game, I'd say he's definitely improved since then onwards. So yeah, toss up between those 3 players, but I probably will just edge it to Cullen.
Yeah, obviously Perot got top scorer, but now we'll give our player of the season then. So again, this could go to any of these players really that I'm going to list. It could be anyone between Wood, Manning, Perot, Fulton, Grimes, Cundle, Ollie Cooper. But for me personally, I'm going to have to give it to Ryan Manning, as I have mentioned earlier on in this video. I just think he's been terrific. Hopefully we can keep him in the summer. I know it's going to be hard, but yeah, he's just been excellent this season. But who's your player of the season?
Yeah, I'd have to give it to Manning as well. He arguably could have got most improved player as well, because I think he's definitely improved a lot from last season. You know, he's really got a lot more goals and assists in his game now. I think he got, 5 or 6 goals and then like 10 or 11 assists, which is ridiculous. So, you know, it's been incredible. And like I said earlier, it is going to be sad to see him go, because he's been a good servant over these last few years. But, you know, I'd understand why he wants to go. Obviously, him and his wife have just had a kid recently, and, you know, you might need a little bit more money to help raise it and that, which is fair enough. But, yeah, it's going to be hard to replace him if he does go. You know, it doesn't look like that he will sign a new contract, but, you know, it is what it is. He's been a good servant, and I respect everything he's done.
Yeah, and then finally we've got one more thing to talk about, which is how we need to improve on next season then. So it's probably, you know, going to be the same sort of thing that I said last season about the season before. So you just gotta, I just think we need to be more consistent and make more signings. And it sounds cliche, but, you know, if we can keep hold of, you know, our better players, such as Perot, Manning, if we can keep hold of players like Latibodiere out of contract, if we can offer Russell a new contract, we just need, and you know, just keep the main bulk of our squad and add a few more additions to that as well in both the summer and January. Then I think we've got no reason why we can't, you know, really compete next season. But yeah, how do you think we need to improve next season?
Improve, I'd say we definitely need more squad depth, but obviously, you know, our owners are very, very tight. I know we've had, I think, a recent investment of some sort. I haven't looked too much into it, but I think, yeah, we definitely need to make a few more signings. And yeah, as I just said, you know, we don't have much money, so some players may want to leave, you know, for more money, which is fair enough. You know, you can't knock it, but you know, it's going to be hard this transfer window coming up. Obviously, we're not going to spend much money. We'll probably just bring in free agents or loans, pretty much. But yeah, we do need to try and keep as many as our players as we can. You know, Perot, we need him to stay, otherwise, you know, we have no goal scorer at all, really. And yeah, Manning, it's a shame to see him leave, but we'll need to find a replacement most likely. But you know, that's what we need to do. We need to try and make more signings, try and keep the players we got already if we can, just offer them whatever they want. And then, yeah, obviously, like you said, try and be a bit more consistent throughout the season.
Yeah, obviously a massive thanks for watching this. We'll be back very soon. We've got a few videos lined up for, you know, the off season. But yeah, obviously, as I said, massive thanks for watching this. And yeah, stay tuned for the next one.